Have you come to the decision that this will be your last fight? Has that been a thought?
Oh yeah.
This is it.
Oh yeah, this is it. Yeah, this is a wrap, man. This is it. This is the last time. Look at my hair, man. Like, look at my freaking hair.
Hey, your hair's on like 22%. Your computer's on 5.
This is why I wear a hat. You know, like, I don't do haircuts when I'm in the middle of training camp, so I'm wearing hats. But yeah, my hair's out, man. My hair has gone through the ringer, and like who looks like that? But yeah, this is it. You know, I've done everything, man. I've done everything. It just means something to me to finish this trilogy with Stipe, because not only is he the greatest heavyweight of all time, and this fight will determine who is the greatest heavyweight in UFC history, and of course, and definitely of this era. He's also a good guy, a guy that does the right thing, and I'm excited to finish this trilogy with him, and that'll be the time that I step into the octagon last. You know, I mean, it's been fun. This has been a great ride for me. I never could have imagined that I would be doing this for so long at the highest levels. I mean, I fought the number 5 heavyweight in the world a year and a half into my career. Now I'm 10 years in, and you know, I'm still fighting at the highest level, so I'm lucky.
Well, congrats on a hell of a run. Can't wait to watch your final battle here with Stipe. But getting to meet Stipe in Columbus and Lytle and Mitrione and a lot of fighters I've gotten a chance to drink or have a good time with, incredibly deep thinkers. Like that, there is something special. There's something special about having the ability to have this gladiator mentality to go into a cage and not be angry at the person immediately after for trying to kill you. Like there is something special about that. Whenever you go into this fight with Stipe, who is also a very good guy, you just alluded to it. What are the thoughts? It's just like, hey, this is 100% a chess match. Me versus Stipe. There isn't gonna be a lot of build up. Like, hey, I think this guy's a douche. Hey, I hate you. You hate you, which is the classic fight build up, even in high school or junior high. This is just something where it's like, hey, we are the two guys and we're just going to have to figure out how to beat each other. Is that going to be the marketing and kind of the build up for it?
Well, you know, the reality is, like, we fought twice, right? And there was a lot of aggravation on his part for not getting an immediate rematch. There's been a lot of aggravation on my part for having to wait. Anytime you fight somebody 2 times and you're going into a 3rd fight, your relationship absolutely changes. So whereas before we were very cordial and we were almost friendly, that's not the case anymore.
Oh,
so there's respect, but that's definitely not the case. We're not friends anymore, but maybe later. But right now, it's ultimately going to be, I have to win at all costs. Like, I cannot lose this fight. This fight means everything to me.
Hell yeah, it's what you're going to remember forever. Your last fight, your last taste in your mouth. And now, granted, you're always going to be, for as long as you want to be, the voice of the UFC. But right now with the UFC, there's a lot going on. Whether it's John Jones, a guy who you have had a lot of beef with and a lot of great bouts with and a lot of hype around, him talking about fighters making more money or other fighters coming out saying, hey, we deserve more money. It's your last fight now, but you're still going to be on the UFC payroll for a long time. Is that kind of hard to balance and be like, I agree that I think fighters should be making more money, but we also have to understand the business side? Or like, how does that whole thing work out, you think, in your mind?
You know, I think that guys do deserve money. Like, Jones deserves a lot of money for all that he's done over the course of his career. But the reality is, you know, I feel like it's just different. I feel like all these negotiations, and I'm sure you went through a ton of negotiations in your career, we never heard you talk about it publicly. And I think when guys are talking about the fighter pay and everything publicly, that's what's hurting them. Because I know that, and I said this on my show a few weeks ago, Pat, like, as the champion, I was making, millions of dollars. But my contract, because I got it so long ago, was for $300,000 if I would fight as a challenger. Because I figured I would never lose the belt, so that's fine. Just make it something. But I would never fight for $300,000 right now. Smart. So I go to the UFC and I speak to them about me getting paid fairly. And because I don't do it publicly, I get it. I got what I wanted, right? I got the pay that I was getting as the heavyweight champion. So it's like, it's just a matter of doing these things under the right circumstances, and I think it can be worked out. I really do.
We have to get to a break for radio. DC will stick around with us on YouTube. Let's get to that right now. Dawn? 5, 4. We're clear? Okay. So I assume Dana White, though, is he the guy that's negotiating the contract with you whenever you go in there and you're like, hey, listen, this is what I was making. We know that. Yeah. I am a voice of the sport. Every time I fight, people enjoy my fights. Is that kind of how it works? Because it feels like I do a lot of work with WWE. Not currently, but I have in the past. And whenever you talk to the people at B, and if you handle your business that way, like, they appreciate it almost. It's like, okay, this is how you handle your business. Is it same
Well, the
with the UFC?
reality was I don't this time I talked to Dana, but I never say I'm a commentator. I've done all this for or I never say that. I say, listen, and this time it was with Hunter Campbell, who's the lawyer, Dana's lawyer, and a very high up, does all the contract negotiations for the UFC at this point. But we go to Hunter and I go, Hunter, I said, what my contract states is something that, obviously after 5 years of making what I was making, I would not want to go back to that. And it was very easy to get back to the number that I was comfortable with.
That's awesome. Let's talk
It's
around.
that simple. But it's done behind closed doors, right? I'm not on Twitter. I'm not on Instagram. And this was like one of my deals with Jorge Masvidal, who I think is a phenomenal fighter. I was like, he was thanking all the fans that have supported him through this fight with the UFC, but it's like, they're not going to pay him, right? Ultimately, his money comes from that organization. So it's better to work it out with that organization opposed to doing it and getting the support and love of the fans.
Well, I think as soon as you make it public, then it's seen as a competition, right? Then the
and if you know Dana White, you need to,